What's going on, everybody? It is a Monday here on Falcons Daily, and I am CG, your host, Craig Green. And this episode probably won't take very long today. Not a whole lot can be said about what took place in Charlotte yesterday at Bank of America Stadium. I was actually there at the game in section 230, row 13, watching the game in the end zone. Uh, it was a disaster amongst all disasters. That's all I really can say about it. The ride into Charlotte was great. The ride home, not so much. But again, it just was an embarrassing loss for the Falcons yesterday to the tune of 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers. I mean, it's one thing to lose to the Panthers. That would have been disappointing in and of itself, but the way that they lost yesterday was just about as disappointing as it could get. I mean, it was humiliating. It was embarrassing. They looked completely outclassed on the field. They couldn't get out of their own way. Nothing went right for them whatsoever. They couldn't even field the damn kickoff several times. The ball just bouncing around. Nobody looked like they knew what to do with the football. Penix making some horrible throws at times during the game. Receivers falling down. Just looked like, like they're like it felt like at times some of the players, I don't know if this is the actual truth, but it felt like some of them had quit at points when they saw the score was getting lopsided, especially in the third quarter. It got so bad that they had to put Kirk Cousins in yesterday, with like 9 or so minutes left. I can't remember how much time it was, but they got Penix out of there pretty quickly, especially after the second interception that almost got returned for a touchdown. It just was, uh, you know, I can't say the word on the show, but it was an S show yesterday of epic proportions. It was that awful. Um, I had a feeling it was going to be bad when I saw Parker Romo missing from like 40 and 45 yards out in pregame warmups. It was, a pretty ugly sight. He gets out there, his very first kick. I think it was 49. I can't remember exactly how long it was, but I mean, shanked it completely wide right, not even close. It looked like one of the really bad college football misses that you see from time to time. Then the second one, a little further away, 54, whatever it was, 56, had the distance on it, no good, of course, and then immediately you just felt like right then and there, the writing was on the wall for the Falcons because just nothing was going their way. They couldn't tackle well. Bryce Young running into the end zone. It just was crappy. Very, very crappy. Humiliating game. Falcons dropped to 1-2. Panthers improved to 1-2. And now Carolina slides into the second spot in the NFC South behind the Buccaneers, who won basically at the horn on a field goal themselves today or yesterday, that is. And so yeah, that's where things lie. Saints got destroyed. They're 0-3. But the Falcons, still got an uphill battle to climb because now you've got a loss to the Carolina Panthers, and you've got a loss now to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers uh, in the NFC South. So uphill battle to climb, and we'll see where it goes from there. But in the loss, was there anything to like whatsoever? Really, only one thing, and that was Bijan Robinson. He had 111 total yards, 72 on the ground, 39 in the air, and he had a pretty good quote that tried to make me feel, a little better about what was going on today, or yesterday, excuse me. But Bijan was talking to the media after the game, and he said, I didn't want to lose by 30 today, talking about yesterday, obviously. Obviously, nobody did, but it happened. I believe this can either break a team or make a team. For us, this needs to make this team. We need to come in tomorrow. We need to watch this game, and we all need to feel the same hurt the same way. This is a division game at that, so it needs to hurt even more. And I agree with Bijan. This game hurt pretty bad. I mean, again, it's one thing, to get beat, to get beat by a division rival, but to get beat in the way they got beat on Sunday, just no excuses. I mean, completely unacceptable for that to go down the way it did. This to me was worse than when the Falcons lost 38 to nothing to the Cam Newton led Carolina Panthers in 2015. This is worse than that because that team at least was Super Bowl bound, and and the Falcons did exact some revenge on them in Atlanta that year and put the 1-15-1. But yeah, Bijan Robinson's the only thing I think that went well in this game for the Falcons, and that's about it. Coming up, coming up here next Sunday, Week 4 in Atlanta, Dan Quinn is going to come back. So if it's going to get worse, it's going to get worse. In the most ironic of ways, because here comes one of our former head coaches, Dan Quinn, who we let go, ironically, after a loss to the Carolina Panthers in 2020. He'll be returning with the Washington Commanders to Atlanta and bringing possibly Jaden Daniels or possibly Marcus Mariota, for crying out loud, who just went out there and beat the Las Vegas Raiders with the Washington Commanders on Sunday. So it can get pretty bad pretty quickly. Hopefully, if we go into the bye week at 1-3, I mean, some serious questions have to be asked about what we're doing, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. Again, John Parker Romo looked terrible out there on Sunday. After everybody was crowning him the king of Atlanta. The Monday after we beat the Vikings, right back down to earth. My man was inaccurate as heck and showed you exactly why he was a free agent. Seen all kinds of things on X and other platforms talking about Young Wei Koo watching the game and laughing and all these other things, but it feels kind of like karma in a way, but just the wrong kind of karma for us. And it continues again. Dan Quinn again, who was fired from Atlanta, went to Dallas and turned them into a defensive monster. Now has gone to Washington, and remember he beat us last year in Washington in overtime, and now he's coming back to Atlanta for the first time, one of the first times anyway, and looking to do the exact same thing here in our house. So, you know, it's going to take everything that Bijan said, get in there, feel the hurt, then burn the tape and move on, for the Falcons to get past that game. Let me know in the comments, y'all, how you guys feel about what happened on a Sunday in Atlanta, in Charlotte. We had just a couple of comments that happened, over Friday because I predicted 31-14 in favor of Atlanta. We had one guy predict Larry Turner, 26-26, predicted 28-14 Falcons. Yeah, I wish, we would even have scored 1 point in that game. But nope, didn't happen. I disagree unless a team is desperate. No team will come calling. That was a question of about about Young Wei Koo. Koo's gonna get a job, and I want to see. This is that was give me the name here. Sorry about that. Samuel Davis, 1324. I disagree unless a team is desperate. No team will come calling. It's a copycat league. I would be shocked if Koo gets a job. I concur with everything you said about how to beat the Carolina Panthers. Thank you. But yeah, somebody's going to come looking for Koo. I mean, Atlanta fans are just hurt over him missing this kick, and he's hurt, and they're hurt about him missing kicks against the Saints. I think it's being blown out of proportion about what happened, last season, and then the one. I mean, my man missed one kick this year. One, okay? When you look at Koo's stats for 2025, it's going to show he was 2 for 3, all right, on field goals and 2 for 2 on extra points. So again, when you add up all his kicks, he's 4 for 5. All right, that's 80% on total kicks. I mean, that's one. He missed one. If you're in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium like I was today, you really mean to tell me that John Parker Romo looked better than Young Wei Koo did today, missing than Koo did when he missed a couple of kicks last year against the Saints. One of those was blocked, by the way. Again, I think it's an overreaction to us losing a game and losing to the Saints because that's our biggest rival. Falcon fans are just are tired and exacerbated over that type of stuff. But the blame and the vitriol and the hurt is being placed in the wrong places. Again, the defense is allowed to suck, but if the kicker misses a kick, it's all his fault. That's why Samuel and I talk about the things that lead up to these kicks and to these moments in the game because it is a team sport, and Koo should have made that kick. I will reiterate that again. Koo needs to make these kicks, right? And if you don't make the kicks, you are going to find yourself on the street. But so are some of these other guys who can't make tackles, who commit penalties at the wrong time, who commit offense, who false start and cause us to move back when we're trying to advance in the red zone, things like that. So, um, yeah, for who is going to find a job? I mean, let's not act like this guy's one of the worst kickers in the league. That he just, remember, he was in Atlanta for 7 years. 7 years. So if he was that bad, how did he make it for 7 years? I mean, the NFL people are watching and our general managers are not dumb. You know, we made question decisions they make from time to time, but you don't hang around for 7 years, especially as a kicker, if you're just mediocre or average or whatever. Koo had a really bad year last year. Some of it had to do with himself and maybe technique and things like that. Other of it had to do with most likely injuries. Because remember, he went on injured reserve after I think it was week 16 or 15 or something like that. But again, uh, very possible he was playing hurt just like Kirk Cousins was during the Saints game. So, you know, um, give it some time, you'll see Koo back out somewhere. And honestly, after the way Parker Romo played on Sunday, I would love it if they just said, you know what, we made a mistake. Koo, do you want to come back to Atlanta? But I know that's not going to happen. It's wishful thinking. I just, the sting and the pain of getting beat 30-0 by the mm, by the Carolina Panthers. I mean, again, an NFL team, yes, but they are not 30-0 good. I'm sorry. They got beat by Jacksonville and they got beat by Arizona. Okay. And they weren't looking that impressive in either one of those games. And for the Falcons to go into Charlotte and really not even get off the bus and show up for this game, I mean, completely embarrassing and just, felt like a waste of 3 hours, to be quite honest with you. Falcon family, we will see you back on Tuesday. Don't forget to give FanArch a follow as well. They're up there in the top left corner, FANARCHCO. I'm at Craig G Sports, CRAIG, the letter G, and the word sports. We'll be back on Tuesday with more Falcons Daily. Sayonara and buenos noches.